The experiences discussed in this video are my own personal experiences and do not reflect the entire Jewish religion. The Jewish religion, like any other religion, has people that practice to all different extents. I grew up in a small extremist community that functions as a cult. Just like Christianity is a religion that has communities that function as a cult, Judaism does too. If you disagree, feel free to come and debate me. Also, the fact that you have access to the internet and you're even seeing this right now means you're not currently in the cult, so back the HE double hockey stick off.
Hi, gorgeous. How are you? So I'm going to get into it. So a lot of you know, I don't know if I should give my whole background again. I'm just going to give like a quick overview. For people who have been here before know this already. But I'm just going to give a quick overview of my background. So I grew up in a Hasidic Jewish cult. I left everything when I was 19. Growing up, most of our books were blacked out. We weren't, by the way, to whoever sent a guest request, I didn't see. I'm not accepting anything yet until I get through this part of my story, and then we'll accept people. But yesterday I wanted to tell this and I got distracted and got into a debate when I really wanted to stay to my story and tell my story. So, what's it called again? I grew up going to, happy belated birthday, Jay. I grew up in the school I went to. Most of the books were blacked out. We didn't learn anything, really. Our education was very minimal. It was basically Hebrew studies all day and maybe 2 hours, 3 hours of secular studies. And that was like all the subjects pushed into 2-3 hours, and our school days from first grade were 7 hours long. So we were very much not taught, the focus was not on secular education, and even within our secular classes, a lot of the books were blacked out, and we didn't learn much. We also didn't have access to the internet. If our parents would have access to the internet, that would be, unless it was for business purposes, they could have the internet. Okay, eat. If they just had the internet at home, which we could use, we would have been kicked out of the school if the school would have found out. You're not allowed to watch TV, listen to any music that wasn't Jewish, watch any movies that weren't Jewish. We had our own TV shows, episodes. It was called Secret Agent MS, where it was this little kid fighting crime, a little yeshiva boy fighting crime. It was very cute. But yeah, we did all that. I left everything when I was 19. I'm going to be on a podcast. I'll go into more detail then. And most of the people already know the details. But when I was 19, I was given 48 hours to move out of my house. I moved out. I nearly ended up on the street. Thankfully, I didn't. I found somebody that was willing to rent to me without me putting down a security deposit. And I had like a small bedroom in an apartment. It was a shared apartment, and I was so happy. I worked 3 jobs, and then I didn't realize this at the time, but I was seeking a support system. So I jumped into a long-term relationship with the first guy I went out with. It was 2 years, and no, I didn't make a podcast. I'm being on someone else's. I jumped into a relationship because I was, sorry, I'm trying to pull up the email, the letter I wrote her. I have it in an email. But I jumped into a long-term relationship with somebody else because I needed that support system, and he gave me that support. So my mom, we were moving in together, and we were moving to Florida. So I wanted to tell my mom that I was in a relationship with somebody that I loved, and I thought I would be together with him forever and everything like that. But instead, I'm not going to say the whole story now. She dragged me in front of a rabbi. She begged him to mourn my death. He said no, but she ended up mourning my death anyway. She went through a shiva process, which is like tearing the clothes. And basically it's a mourning period because, it's better to have a dead child than a child who leaves the faith. So, what's it called again? I was really still trying. My whole thing, I had wanted to leave since I was 16. But I only left when I was 19 because the entire time I was trying to find a way so I can leave while maintaining a relationship with my parents. I didn't want anyone to think I was leaving out of anger because of any trauma. I wanted people to know. I was like so hung up on this idea that they have to know I left because of logic. I left because I decided to leave, and this has nothing to do with trauma, hate. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. This is just not what I believe. And I really wanted to maintain a relationship with everybody. So this is the letter I wrote. I found it like 3 days ago. A letter I wrote to my mom after she had already mourned my death. Where I still was very much putting it all on myself, I think, at this point. But I was also starting to understand that it wasn't necessarily on me. So this is what I wrote. To my dear mother, I know it may not feel like it lately, but I love you. I love you very much. I'm thankful for everything you did for me. You raised me to be grateful for everything and not to be bitter, even though the odds were always stacked against you. And you could have been bitter, but you weren't. You taught me to love everyone and respect every person. I love you, and I don't want to lose you. You're my mother, and you will always be my mother. I really hope we can stay close, and I hope that the bond between us can stay strong, even though I chose my own path, which is different than yours. I hope that one day you'll accept me for who I am. I'm your daughter. Whoa, I haven't read this in a minute. I am getting emotional. Hold up. It's hard because I put my entire life on hold for so many years, and to try to gain her approval and gain, oh, thank you, Benny, to try to gain her approval, gain her respect, and try to keep a relationship. Sorry, hold up. Try to keep a relationship with her. And I was doing everything so that I would be seen as a person. And, oh, thank you. I'd be seen as a person and not as this angry person who's just doing this out of hate and because I want to hurt other people. But no matter what I did, no matter what steps I took, no matter which rabbis I went to see, no matter how long I put that on hold for, oh, thank you. No matter how long I put that on hold for, it wasn't enough. And I should have known at 16 that it wouldn't be enough. And this was even after she mourned my death. Like, she had already came to the conclusion that she'd rather have a dead daughter than a... She had already... Oh, goodness. Whoa, hold up. Give me a second. Okay, I'm fine. She had already come to the conclusion that she would rather have a dead daughter than somebody who left the religion and left the community. Why I wasn't willing to accept it at that point, I don't know. I don't know, but I think what later killed me the most, or even at that point, but I don't think I fully understood it at that point, was that she fully accepts, trusts, and loves a family member of ours who is a pedophile and who has abused so many people. But she will trust him with her life and will leave my younger sister, who was at that point 4 or 5 years old, around him alone. When she would not trust me, she would rather mourn my death and not trust me around her child because I'm a worse influence than the abuser. It's still something I'm working through. to not feel like a bad person and to know that I'm a better person than that pedophile and that abuser. But it's hard, you know? It's really hard. Okay, I'm gonna try to go back to reading it. Oh, okay. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Here it is. I hope that the bond between us can stay strong even though I chose my own path, which is different than yours. I hope that one day you'll accept me for who I am. I'm your daughter. I'm someone who's giving, who is nice to those around them. And I didn't get those traits on my own. I got every single one of them from you. But I also got my independence from you, my voice, and my need to stand up for what I believe in. And like, that's the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing was that she chose to be Hasidic, even though she chose to be Hasidic, even though she wasn't raised that way. This is something she chose to do, and she stood up for what she thought was right, and she always taught us that, like, stand up for what you believe in. And then when I was doing that, she didn't, that wasn't good enough for her. And on top of that, she would always talk about how when people leave, the best thing you can do is accept them and embrace them. But then when it came to her child, she couldn't do that. And the worst part wasn't the kicking me out, mourning my death, all of that stuff. That wasn't the worst part. The worst part was I can't see my sister. She was 4 years old at that point. She's 11 now. And in her mind, on this... Sorry. Hold up. Okay, sorry. In her mind, I'm this terribly abusive person. In her mind, I'm this terribly abusive person who chose to wear pants over having a relationship with her. And I don't sometimes know how to justify it, how I chose this life over being there for her. And like, you know, I know what it was doing to my mental health at the end, but I feel like I was very selfish to leave when she's still there, you know, and she's gonna have no one. She's gonna have no one. And like, I'm supposed to be there to protect her and everything. Ooh, I need a tissue. Hold up. 1 second, let me just finish feeding my dog this. I'm feeling his ball up. And, oh my God. I did not know. I thought this letter would like be a little bit emotional, but I didn't expect a full breakdown. Hold up. Okay, great. Let me go get a tissue because I feel like I'm all snotty and stuff. and then I'll continue talking. Ooh. You know what? Paper towel we'll have to do. We'll do paper towel. I don't think I have a box of tissues. Okay. Ooh. So, okay, so, the biggest thing is that I can't get away from the fact that it is selfish of me to leave. No matter how you want to cut it, yes, I did it for my mental health. Yes, I was being controlled. Yes, it was a terrible environment. But I got through it for 19 years. Another 10 years wouldn't have made that much of a difference. And I often have to stop myself from going back. Because I know if I choose, tell them I found the errors in my ways and I am going to be religious again and I made a mistake and blah, 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 she'll let me have a relationship with my sister again. So I often have to stop myself from, going back. And I don't know what to do because she's 11. She deserves to have an older sister and to not have to go through it alone. So, I've been out 7 years, but I still think I might go back. I don't know. But yeah, I'll hold up. Okay. I think that was it. Okay. Message me after. Here, I'll follow you, my dear. Just message me. I'm gonna forget to message you. But, what you're telling me the topics. Right. It can be messy. It can be very messy. But, it wasn't just theology. It's more of, the community that I left. And everything. Okay, give me 30 seconds. I'll let you come up, and I'll accept people up. But, oh no, Jasper.